What's up, everybody? Just here with the great Raymond Leppens. Did I say that right?
Not even close.
Oh, come on.
Not even
I thought we just went over this.
Yeah, and you butchered it.
Okay, basically the guy who just barely, narrowly got a win on Ryan Bowen.
Barely.
It's close.
Hey, still rank higher than you.
Than me?
Yeah.
We already had this conversation. Khalid Jashel is still higher than you. So, whatever.
Based on what?
Based on what?
I beat the GOAT.
Beat the GOAT, man.
Have you any wins on Ryan Bowen? Official? Exactly.
I am Ryan Bowen's father. Okay?
And when you face each other, he should be the favorite.
And the great Kevin Wolf
Hey guys.
from Bulldogs. So today, I thought, what a great time. See that duck? Eh? Yeah.
We're in Germany, yeah?
Yeah, Germany.
Germany. Eating bratwurst.
We're going to talk about arm wrestling. We will talk about arm wrestling in general. Where is arm wrestling right now in 2022? What's going on? A lot of people on this channel, don't know exactly how the flow works, how to get involved. Just general arm wrestling discussion. So, I don't know, where would you start? To someone.
I think arm wrestling is at a great place. I think people joining the sport from all over the world, and we just have to educate them, which we do right now.
There's club arm wrestling, there's competitive arm wrestling. I think the first thing I'd talk about for people getting in is understanding the competitive structure. Basically, I feel like there's a couple pieces to the puzzle. There's what you see a lot on YouTube, and that's the high-end super matches, professional arm wrestling.
Yeah.
That's something that's got a lot of heat the last few years. You see East versus West. You see King of the Table. Monster Factory now has got some good stuff going on.
Arm Wars is back.
Arm Wars is back.
Pin 'em all is coming up.
Pin 'em all. That's right. Pin 'em all. Saturday. Who's the strongest guy in Germany?
I am.
Ooh. We'll find out. Find out pretty soon. So you have all these professional things, and it's kind of a while to get there. You know, normally it takes a few. I'd say probably nobody gets into these competitions without
Knowing how to arm wrestle.
seven or 8 years arm wrestling is probably your minimum, except for guys like Khalid. So every once in a while you'll get a freak who comes in quick, but basically, these are seasoned pros who are fighting in those high-end level matches. There's WAF. WAF's important.
That's
Yes.
important.
Yeah.
So,
Still is always.
the first thing for everyone, so you want to get involved. Arm wrestling is competition. It's competition in training, and it's competition in competition. So if you're a competitive person, arm wrestling is exactly for you, because every time you go to a practice, it's a competition. So will say no, but it always is.
It is.
You always want to get your end out of it. So most countries will have clubs, and clubs will come together and make a federation, association, whatever. And all these clubs in different countries are under different leaderships. We have now two big federations, WAF and IFA. WAF is World Arm Wrestling Federation, and IFA is International Federation of Arm Wrestling. There's a little bit between, there's a little conflict in between. That's how IFA was made. WAF still has, in my opinion, best arm wrestlers on the planet. So if you want to know how do you rank in amateur arm wrestling world, your main aim should be to get to one of these two championships, either IFA or World. How do you get there? Usually by becoming national champion, or getting a spot on team. So, like for difference, like I pull in 85 kilo class in WAF and European championships. I can get there, and one more person from Latvia can pull in that class. So each category will have two people from the same country, so it's not too much like 10 Russians just taking all the places. So that's behind the scenes. This is how everything works up, and the best arm wrestlers usually will get will get their break and become big stars on, you know,
From WAF.
from WAF.
Yeah.
It's almost always from WAF.
I guess most people don't know that all of the great guys you see at East versus West or at Dubai and King of the Table, they all started at WAF. Levan started.
Even me.
Yes. Levan started at WAF. I think he started in 100 kilo, went up to 110, and then in the open, Gennady, even Dave Chafee pulled at WAF. They all started there, and it's still.
And all of them placed in top 3 positions.
Yes.
That's the benchmark. How do you know? You go to WAF Worlds, and when it's good competition, you finish top 3. You're really damn good.
And today, WAF and IFA is very interesting politically. There was, not to get too into the weeds for everybody, but it's an interesting point to note what it means for what IFA is right now and what WAF is right now. And this is my opinion because I personally haven't attended these tournaments in quite some time, but it's my belief that the countries that are still getting a paycheck from their government are going through WAF.
Yes, because WAF is the only federation that is recognized by GAIS, which is a governing body of all the sports. So it doesn't matter if it's boxing, if it's athletics, it has to be recognized internationally by one governing body. And WAF is under that governing body. So federations that are under WAF, most of the time countries will get some, money from federations will get money from countries. So if you win first place in, let's say, world championships, you will have some prize money from your country.
So basically, like for example, you have the country Canada. We will divide our annual competitions under WAF/IFA into our provincials, nationals, and then we will go on to the world championships every year. Every year this will happen. And it's done through a federation, so that means nobody really owns it, and the provincials will be taken on by someone different or the same, whatever. Nationals might move around, and the world is supposed to move around as well.
So another thing is, a lot of guys coming into the sport, they think that it's the pinnacle is Lebanon, and everything in between really doesn't count. And there's so many layers to arm wrestling. You can have great time like the best part about arm wrestling is arm wrestling. I love arm wrestling. It's not about you're good, you win, you feel better, but the best part is training, getting on table. It's just fun. It's the stuff that we do that's fun. If you like that, there's so many guys you can arm wrestle. It's ladders is so high you can just climb them. Eventually you get to position where you can do.
Yeah, I think what an interesting part about WAF is, if you think or if you decide you want to compete at WAF, you always have to go through your national clubs.
Yeah.
WAF is organized in a way as Ray already described, so they are they're organized under a bigger sports federation, and this means it's all official there, and you have to go to your nationals, you have to go through your bigger clubs in your national territory, and you have to qualify through that. It's not like an IFA where you just can go, pay the entry fee, and just take part. IFA is like basically the Olympic ways or the championship ways of the other sports.
So if you wanted to get involved in something like this, you could go, is it WAF.com?
Yeah, but you have to look for, like, either on IFA, you have to figure out what kind of federation. Let's say country, let's name any country, let's say France. So France has IFA and WAF. They have both federations. So you can go and look at both of them, which is closer to you and where you want to compete. You can start at IFA and eventually you can change it to go to WAF, or you can pull at WAF and go to IFA. It's all possible. But first you need to figure out what is the governing body of the country, if there is any, where's the clubs, and then you can figure out all the other stuff.
And normally, if you type in the name of your country, Arm Wrestling Federation, something will come up.
Yeah.
So I'd say we can leave that portion there for now. Now I'd say, okay, so from a new person perspective, you want to get involved in arm wrestling, the very, very best way is to find a club. Find people, find clubs near you. And that's how you're really going to learn how to do the sport. It's very hard to learn the sport without mentorship. There's a ton of video that you can watch. There's a lot of exercises that you can start to become familiar with, and just by doing the exercises, you will actually become a better arm wrestler for sure. But really, you got to get on the table. There's no way around it, and that's the most fun part of the sport anyways. And from there is probably your easiest into the sport, because everybody in those clubs is going to know the answers to all your questions. Yeah, anyways, I just wanted to make this video just because I know that I was just involved in jiu-jitsu. I just went down to the ADCC and I had so many questions. And one of the first, and so I was thinking, well, what if somebody's coming to arm wrestling? So another thing I thought is, who do I follow? Like, if I really want to follow on social media, who do I follow to get aware? We've got a great guy right here, voice of arm wrestling. Ray has incredible videos, incredible tutorials, and he's always up to speed. If I was gonna follow a few channels, I'd follow you. I'd follow Neil Pickup. That that weekly talk that you guys do.
Yeah.
You guys kind of talk about everything.
Everything that's happened, the
Yeah.
week that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I would follow that for sure. Like, if you want to follow along what's going on in the sport, they're always current. It's you can always kind of understand what's going on, and they get into quite good depth as well. So you're gonna get things on a greater depth than you will than just kind of reading the headlines.
Arm wrestling fix every Sundays.
Let me see. If I wanted to follow like kind of premier super matches, I'd be sure that I was following Engen, because Engen is setting up the East versus West stuff, and that, in my opinion, that's kind of where the pinnacle is. Obviously, follow Larry Wheels, because King of Table. So you're gonna get that part. That's the top end of the sport, and then you can get down into the weeds from there. Really, and then it's pick your favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the essence of this video should be like, get on the table.
Get on the table.
Don't think because you see your top favorite arm wrestlers just doing a few exercises, you can do those exercises and become as good. You have to get on the table.
Yeah.
A boxer needs to box.
Arm wrestling is a skill. It is a
Yes.
skill. You have to learn the skill before you can build the strength on that skill.
And that's where the fun is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who can do it? Everybody. You can be a kid.
Yeah.
I started my kids really young, and only one of them broke their arm.
Great.
What do you think is the best age for
Right?
kids to start?
What's the what?
What's the best age for kids to start?
When they can pay attention, because so they can learn faster. When it's kind of going all over the place. Like, we had guys coming in at 14, really good already. Some at 16.
Yeah.
There's, for every person is differently. But of course, if you start younger, you'll have better.
I prefer to start as early as possible, and to
Two.
not teach them. Just expose them. Just make them
Yeah.
think it's just completely normal, and like, you don't need to say a word to them. Just have them watch you and
Yeah.
play.
They would just want to do the
Yeah,
same
just
thing.
yeah. You don't have to just expose them. Just expose them to it and make them think it's normal, and then they'll just do it. I think I've eaten more French fries than you guys.
I don't
Well,
think
you
so.
need it.
I don't think so.
Anyways, guys, there's going to be tons of stuff coming up. I think that arm wrestling is just beginning. We need a lot of people who can organize things very well. There are global systems that need to be organized. Arm wrestling's doing very well, but we're still splintered. As you can tell just from this conversation, you can see that there's many different threads. There's a WAF, there's IFA, there's super matches, and then there's all the independent promotions that you have all around the world that don't have anything to do with that whatsoever.
Hey, I have a good question. So, what are your, if you want to start, should you start with a tournament or you should start with a super match?
Well, I'm for tournaments
Yeah.
because you kind of get thrown into
You have
cold
more,
water, and you have more, and you kind of need to learn on the fly, like judging your opponents. It's not like a professional preparation for a
I
single
would
guy.
say
as well.
tournament and as many classes as you can.
Yeah.
And I would actually, I'll just go the other way to dumb it down even more. I would say pick your dad, pick your brother, pick your friend, and beat them. And one person at a time, just pick them off until you're the last man standing, right? Like,
That's a great advice.
you can definitely go to tournaments, and I would suggest you definitely do, but it's not practical for everyone. The easiest thing to do is look across from the table from you right now and take that guy down. All right, guys, we'll kind of leave it there for now. Just wanted to make a video here in Germany. Almost at 500 subs, and it's probably going to hit here in Germany. I don't know what I'm going to do for that, but stay massive, everybody. You see what I'm working with, right? You see that? You see what I'm working with? You look at when the light hits it, the way it gleams.
Yeah. Is it genetics?
It's genetics, guys.
I asked him. I'm like, I look
You can't
like this.
you can't
I'm like-
have these genetics.
I'm like,
No,
what the hell?
sorry, just for me.